everyone, it's Michelle and welcome back to the Royal Daily Tea. I want to thank everyone who tuned in on Friday afternoon for my YouTube live with the lovely Kenzie Schofield. She is such a trooper. Unfortunately, she was under the weather, but still showed up for our YouTube live. She is such a professional and a delight. So if you've not seen the show, I hope you will go and check out the replay. Now, I did receive a lot of positive feedback and some constructive criticism, and I really do appreciate your feedback because you guys, I'm a novice and we are learning and growing and getting better every day. I do apologize for the lighting situation. I hope it was not too distracting, but you know, sometimes we have to do things when we're going through difficult things. I unfortunately, right before my live with Kenzie, received horrible news that my dad unfortunately had to put down one of his dogs, his 6-year-old Doberman by the name of Bandit. She unfortunately had a tumor that we were not aware of. She fell and hurt herself. They took her to the vet to find out she in fact had a very large growth that was affecting her leg. So that was very devastating news. So literally a couple of hours before my live, I was bawling my eyes out in regards to my dad's dog, and Kenzie was fighting a cold, but both of us made it to give you guys a live. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it. And again, thank you to the lovely Kenzie Schofield for being a trooper and for showing up when she's under the weather. But you guys, we have a lot of juicy royalty to go through today, so you know what to do. Sit back and relax, grab yourself a beverage, and let's get into the Royal Daily Tea. So today marks the 5th birthday of Prince Louis, so a happy birthday to Prince Louis. Now, in celebration of his 5th birthday today, his proud parents marked the occasion by releasing brand new portraits. Now, this year they actually broke from royal tradition as Catherine did not take the photographs herself. Instead, photographer Millie Pinkleton took the portraits earlier this month. Now, the first photo features Prince Louis smiling as he sits inside a wheelbarrow on top of grass and leaves as his mother playfully pushes him around. Absolutely adorable, showing him in some shorts and a blue sweater. So happy birthday to Prince Louis. Well, ladies, it's official. The UK's youngest billionaire and godfather to Prince George is no longer available. He just announced his engagement to his longtime girlfriend, Miss Olivia Henson. Now, Hugh Grosvenor, 32, proposed to his longtime girlfriend at Eaton Hall in Cheshire. It is rumored he's worth about $9 billion and has more land than the king. You know, this is the one that Meghan Markle, you should have shot your shot at, girlfriend, because he has the money, unlike Harry, who doesn't have billions upon billions of dollars. Congratulations to the happy couple. Looking forward to seeing their upcoming wedding. Speaking of weddings, Princess Alexandria of Luxembourg married her boyfriend Nicholas Baggery in a civil ceremony on Saturday. The 31-year-old princess, the daughter of Grand Duke Henry and Grand Duchess Maria Theresa of Luxembourg, married her fiancé in a civil ceremony on Saturday. Now, this is the first of 2 royal celebrations and weddings for the couple. The religious ceremony is going to be held on April 29th, so congratulations to the happy couple. Well, it seems there's just no ending in sight for the dynamic duo out in Montecito, and the narcissism runs deep with these two. So now the news has broken that Meghan Markle has once again put pen to paper and wrote a very personal letter to King Charles about the unconscious bias that's in the royal family. Because, you know, Meghan Markle, who was raised as a white girl by a white family, a white father in a white neighborhood, who never personally experienced racism nor identified as a person of color, not until she got engaged to Prince Harry in 2017, is now the expert on racism and unconscious bias that she needs to preach and school the royal family. I find that hysterical to listen to. So apparently Meghan Markle, around the time of the Oprah Winfrey interview that aired in March of 2021, she felt the need to put her thoughts in another letter because, again, letters have worked so well for her in the past. I mean, after she wrote that letter to her daddy, where it became a lawsuit with the Associated Newspapers, you would have thought this woman would maybe pick up a phone, send a text message, maybe even an email, but oh no, she sent an actual letter. So I'm wondering if the fact that she wrote an actual letter was that she was writing the letter for it to be public, because we know how this girl loves things to be leaked to the press. And it was leaked to the Telegraph, which we all know is a publication that her and Harry use a lot. It's one of the few publications that they leak information to besides Page Six and People. But yeah, nonetheless, it's through the Telegraph that this information was leaked. Now, I'm going to bet $100 it was not the palace that leaked this letter all right before King Charles's coronation. Really? Like, he's going to leak a letter? I don't think so. This is Meghan Markle. This is her handiwork with her signature and her calligraphy written all over it. Now, according to this letter, Meghan Markle wanted to heal the rift between the Sussexes and the royal family, so much so that she wanted to put pen to paper and write a Dear Daddy letter to King Charles explaining why she talked about it on Oprah, the unconscious bias, and pretty much how the royal family abandoned her, how they were not there for her, and how she didn't like how they were handling the bullying allegations. That's right, Meghan Markle was not happy with the way that the palace was handling the bullying allegations. Now, the interesting thing about those bullying allegations was that the royal family actually sided with Meghan. In the beginning, they didn't do anything to Meghan at all. They didn't have any rules. How do you deal with a royal who is bullying staff? It wasn't in their employee handbook. HR, nobody had ever dealt with that before. This was a new occurrence for the royal family and for the royal staff. They didn't have rules in place, so Jason Knopf took it upon himself to approach Prince William over his concerns that they were losing staff left and right. They couldn't keep staff, and that the royal family was like, sorry to see you go, sign here. Nobody was really standing up for the staff at that point because, again, she's a royal family member. She was a duchess. So if anything, the palace looked extremely bad that at that time they were not protecting their staff. Now, after the bullying allegations became public, Her Majesty the Queen, along with the palace, did a full-blown investigation where they kept it private to protect the members of the staff, and now they have new policies and procedures in place to protect the staff. That is because of Meghan Markle. But at the time, they never had to have any of that in place because they didn't deal with bullying from a senior member of the royal family to that extent until Meghan Markle came on the scene. And that is 100% fact. So at the time, Meghan has the audacity to say to King Charles, well, I don't like the way y'all handled that. You mean blow it under the carpet and protect you, Meghan? Again, nothing is ever good enough for this woman. Now, the interesting thing is that the bullying allegations came out, I believe, 1 or 2 days before the Oprah Winfrey interview aired. So Meghan and Harry were accusing the palace of leaking that story to make Meghan look bad. But again, the palace also looked extremely bad by not protecting the staff. The royal family is not going to leak stories that's going to make any member, and I mean any member of the royal family or the royal institution, the staff, look bad. I don't care what Meghan and Harry say, the royal family does not leak stories to make a member of the royal family look bad. The royal family would never do that because once you open up that gate, it's like Pandora's box. You can't make a deal with the devil. You can't make deals with the press like that. I'm going to give you this dirty story to squash this dirty story. No, that's not how it works. They wish that's how it worked, but it's not how it works. That story was leaked from probably a staff member. Someone got a hold of the information from Jason Knopf. It was not from the palace themselves. So in the letter, Meghan Markle details how the royal family member asked questions about Archie's skin tone and the, quote, concerns that they were having. Now, both of them agreed in the letters that there was no ill intent or malice on part of the royal family member, that Meghan was never going to share who that person was. Blackmail. Anyways, so Meghan is talking about how she felt slighted, that they weren't there for her, that they handled the bullying allegations wrong. So the main part, though, that Meghan was really upset about that a lot of people have missed, she wasn't as concerned about the unconscious racism and bias or the questions about Archie's skin tone or even the bullying allegations. She was really upset that nobody mentioned the fact that she tried to unalive herself because of the mistreatment of the royal family. No one bothered to mention that, and King Charles apparently did not mention that in his reply letter. Now, if you remember when you watched the docu-series of Harry and Meghan, how they were literally excited for their Oprah Winfrey interview to be aired and how they were literally eating popcorn like, oh my God, it's going to air. And they were so excited. And Harry was comforting Meghan because she was so emotional because that was supposed to be Meghan Markle's moment. The Oprah Winfrey interview was all about Meghan. It was all about Meghan. It was her moment. It was Meghan's mega moment to be the queen martyr and professional victim of all time. But we all missed that because of the racist allegation trumped what she thought was going to be the biggest moment, the most jaw-dropping moment of the interview, is when she admitted that she had thoughts of harming herself, of unaliving herself, like Princess Diana when she was pregnant with Archie. You remember that? She was like, I was so distraught. I had thoughts of hurting myself. I didn't know what to do. I went to Harry. He didn't know what to do. He had to go run and call his therapist because he didn't know what to do. He didn't know how to help his wife, even though he literally was in therapy himself. And how she made up that story of going to HR. Again, HR is for the staff. HR does not handle royals. That whole scenario was BS. It was made up to make it look like the palace dropped the ball. Nobody was there for her. Even her husband apparently dropped the ball. He's such a nimwit. We're supposed to believe that Harry was like, I don't know what to do. You're like my mom. You're like my mom. I don't know what to do. So he makes her slap on some lipstick and a ball gown and head to the Cirque du Soleil. If you watch the body language of that night, he looks pissed at Meghan. He doesn't look like a man who's concerned for his pregnant wife, that she wants to hurt herself and their unborn child. He looks like he's pissed, like she was manipulating the crap out of him and they had to go to this event. If anything, you would have canceled the event and taken her away to a hospital, called 911, gotten your therapist on the phone. But no, they went to Cirque du Soleil. And if you watch the body language, they didn't look happy. She didn't look like she was sad or wanting to hurt herself. She kept clinging to Harry, and he was literally pushing her off of him. It was very awkward, the body language. So we're supposed to believe that was the day that she was telling him she had these thoughts, and he didn't know what to do, y'all. He didn't know what to do. But if you remember on the Archetype podcast, she let it slip that Harry gave her his therapist phone number. Remember that? And she called the therapist when the therapist was checking out at the grocery store. You know, beep, beep. Oh, hello, it's Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. Remember that? She thought it was funny that, oh, I called her and she was checking out of groceries. But meanwhile, she tells Oprah Winfrey she didn't get any help, and that the HR department didn't help her, and that Harry didn't help her, and she was forced to put on a ball gown and go to the circus. Then Harry let it slip that he woke up to Meghan crying. You know, she nudged him really hard, like, and he's like, huh? And she's like, I want to hurt myself. We all know it was fake, that she literally made sure he woke up and he saw her crying, and then she tells him, well, I really want to hurt myself, but I won't, because that would be awful for you, and it's just like your mother, and I can't do that to you. Gosh, you're such a saint, Meghan. To me, that's like 101 narcissism, manipulation. We've all known someone who's tried to manipulate people. If you break up with me, I'm going to hurt myself. I mean, we've all seen it. We know people who've done it. It's a manipulation tactic. So she was manipulating the crap out of him, crying out of her left eye, trying real hard to get her acting chops to work, convincing Harry, just like she did for the wedding day drama, on the floor crying, for the bridesmaid dresses, once again, playing up the victim card. But Harry looked like he was over it. He obviously didn't believe she really wanted to hurt herself, because he didn't act like a husband who was worried for his pregnant wife. But that's just my opinion. So again, we have Meghan. If you watched her during the Netflix series, it was literally comical that they were shocked that people were more concerned about the racism claim than Meghan wanting to hurt herself. Oopsie. Sorry, Megs. It looks like you weren't the queen of the ball again, right? Not the star again. So she was mad that her mega moment didn't happen on the Oprah Winfrey Show. And then, to make matters worse, King Charles doesn't even acknowledge that in his reply letter. Instead, he says he's very disappointed that they went public to air their grievances, and he really wants to work it out amongst the family. But again, you can't work it out with people who are narcissists, because it's never going to be enough. They are the collectors of slights. Now, the other part of this scenario, again, they're so jealous and petty. Another trait of narcissists. They're using their children, and now they're weaponizing them against the royal family, and especially King Charles. They're mad at him because he is showing special treatment to the Waleses' children. Well, first of all, he has an actual relationship with the Waleses' children. He has been there since the day they were born. But with your kids, he doesn't know them because you took them away. Once again, they're taking away the children and using it as a punishment against them. Well, you don't do anything for our kids, and you don't love our kids, and you love William's kids best, and you're a horrible grandfather, and you're favoring them, and you're not acknowledging Archie's 4th birthday, which happens to fall on your coronation, but how dare you? It's like, are you kidding me? They don't even have a recent photo of your children when they post happy birthday on social media. That's embarrassing. They don't know your children. Nobody knows your children. Okay, they're like the mythical children that some people still don't think exist, because the smoke and the mirrors that you do around your children has not done you any favors. So now they're evoking the prince and princess title for their children, pushing the monarchy and pushing the institution and pushing the firm on children who they've literally plucked out of the UK and moved away from the family and the UK, but now you're giving them titles. And they were mad that King Charles waited 6 months to give their children titles. So they went ahead and pushed the envelope and gave it to their children themselves. Remember, the Duke of Edinburgh waited 6 months until he got his title. His brother bestowed it upon him 6 months after the death of their mother, but Harry and Meghan just couldn't wait. Again, for children who aren't even in the UK, whose children don't even have a relationship with the family, let alone the king, they're pushing the titles. And then they have the nerve to say to King Charles, well, you don't love our children the way you love the Waleses. Wah, right? It's like, what do you want this man to do? So again, it is like narcissism 101 that Meghan Markle had the audacity to write the king this letter trying to explain her actions for being on the Oprah Winfrey interview. But the point is, there's no excuse. You're not a victim. You had no right to publicly air your family's dirty laundry. That should have been held privately. But Meghan Markle and Prince Harry play for the public, and they play dirty. And the other part of this that's very interesting, of course, is that Meghan Markle's mouthpiece has come out and said, the fact that you're saying that Meghan Markle is not going to the coronation due to this letter is ridiculous, that Meghan Markle is not thinking about a letter that happened 2 years ago for events that happened 4 years ago. She's not living in the past, and she's clearly in the future, which is the most laughable statement you can ever say, considering the fact they just released a docu-series talking about stuff that happened way back in 2017. His book talks about his entire life and his childhood. These two have not stopped living in the past. The past 3 years has been all about their life in the royal family. They have not established a brand outside of their connection to the royal family. The 3 years of Megxit have been a complete failure to launch. There are no actual brands launched for Harry and Meghan. Everything is tied to the royal family. So the fact that they say that she doesn't hold grudges, Thomas Markle has entered the chat, that she has moved on and she is firmly in the future is laughable, because everything they have done for the past 3 years has been tied to everything that has happened over the last 5 years. These two are so firmly in the past, it's ridiculous. They're like a dog with a bone. They have not let anything go. So what are you guys' thoughts on this letter that has now been, quote, leaked to the Telegraph? Do you think this has Meghan Markle's name written all over it? Leave me your comments, guys, down below. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye, guys.